Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a new murder trial date now set for Fernando Acosta Jr. in the death of Amanda Johnson. And the murder trial, the man suspected of killing 2 workers in a hospital, started today. And the war rages in Gaza, claiming the lives of 10,000 Palestinians in Gaza.
Well, good evening, everyone. We got lots of cloud cover that rolled in today, actually part of a tropical storm in the Pacific again. That is actually going to start building up moisture, and by the time we get to Thursday, a big cold front rolls through the region. So by this weekend, you'll be looking for your jacket again. We'll be talking more about that coming up.
And the bi-district round of playoffs starts on Thursday. We have several matchups in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. The pretrial for Fernando Colin Acosta Jr. was originally set for June 8th before it was reset to October 20th. That pretrial was also postponed. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick has new information on a date for the murder trial. Adarius?
Thank you, Don. Acosta will now stand trial for murder on February 26, 2024. He is accused in the murder of 38-year-old Amanda Johnson. The Matagorda County Sheriff's Office found Johnson's remains in a burned-out SUV in April 2021. Now, Acosta faces charges of tampering with evidence and abuse of corpse and murder. Any pretrial hearings prior to that murder trial date of February 26 are still to be determined. Amanda Johnson leaves behind 2 children. Right now, Acosta is out on bond for $500,000. Don, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. Victoria Police Sunday arrested Madison Olivia Lacerio. She faces 5 charges of human smuggling. Those charges come out of Kinney County. And now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, it was a really nice weekend. Is that weather going to keep up most of this week?
Well, I like to say you got to enjoy it while you can. I hope you did enjoy the weekend. It was just gorgeous. Temperatures in the 80s. Today we were warm, but instead of getting, full day sunshine, we started picking up all this cloud cover. Where is it coming from? It's coming from the Pacific. The thing is, 80-degree days in November can't last forever. In fact, by Friday, you'll be looking for your winter coat again as cold, wet weather returns to the Crossroads and most of Texas. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. More than 10,000 Palestinians have now been killed in Gaza. That's according to the Hamas-controlled Ministry of Health in Gaza. More than 4,000 of those killed are children. It's a staggering toll, especially given that the war is not even 1 month old yet.
Without power, Gaza City is pitch black at night, now lit up only by Israeli airstrikes and the terrifying sound that comes with them. From the ground and from the air, Israel says it hit 450 Hamas targets in the past day. At the beach refugee camp, named for its coastal location, they're sifting through the rubble after a bombing overnight. I don't know what to say, this woman says. There is nothing to say. There is no mercy on anyone, not on children, not on elderly or women. Complete destruction. The injured were rushed to the nearby Al-Shifa hospital, where the sky flashes red from strikes nearby. I don't remember what happened. It was like a shock, says Mohammed Haider, who lives in the beach camp. I don't remember how I fell down. Suddenly, I felt things fall on my head. The IDF says it's doing what it can to minimize civilian casualties, but the human toll in Gaza following the October 7th Hamas terror attack on Israel that killed more than 1,400 people has now surpassed 10,000. According to the Hamas-controlled Ministry of Health in Gaza. Hospital morgues now spill out onto the streets, like this one in central Gaza. Overnight at that same hospital, victims arrive in the back of trucks, some clinging to life, others looking lifeless. Arriving ambulances are packed with as many people as they'll fit. This girl is one of the luckier ones, inside covered in dirt and shaking. She tells the doctor her name is Jenna and that she's in pain. We as medical teams are no longer in a position to be able to fulfill our obligations toward our people, says this doctor. All the beds are occupied. We may have to announce suspension of services in the hospital at any moment. The Hamas-controlled Ministry of Health in Gaza says that these pictures show the aftermath of an Israeli strike on a children's hospital in Gaza City. Several holes blown through the walls and one through the ceiling. The IDF told CNN it has not struck any hospitals yet. Aid is slowly reaching Gaza, but not fast enough for Jordan, which resorted to airdropping medical aid from the sky, as Gazans lined up for bread this weekend in the shadow of another bakery that's been destroyed. They have no idea when the next truckload of essentials will arrive. Scott McLean, CNN, London.
Kendrell LaVar Lyles was set to go on trial for the murder of a Dallas black transgender woman, but pleaded guilty this morning. He was sentenced to 48 years in prison for the 2019 murder of 23-year-old Malaysia Booker. He was arrested for Booker's murder after being accused in 2 other murders, but it's unclear when those will be resolved. Booker made headlines prior to her death after a video went viral showing several people assaulting her in a Dallas parking lot after a car crash. The capital murder trial of a convicted felon accused of shooting 2 women at Methodist Dallas Hospital began today. Police say Nestor Hernandez was out on parole with permission to be at the hospital because his girlfriend was giving birth. Police say once he was in the room, he accused her of cheating and began hitting her with a pistol. Jacqueline Pokua, a social worker, and Annette Flowers, a nurse, tried to help but were both killed. This case actually led to a change in Texas law. Senate Bill 1004 was proposed and passed after the shooting. Under the law, those out on bond will face a felony charge if they remove or disable their ankle monitor.
My belief that ankle monitors do not work. We're giving too many chances to violent criminals and not giving enough chances to our victims and communities and neighborhoods that need it. And so, yes, this is extremely helpful and something that will definitely benefit us.
Previously, messing with an ankle monitor was an administration violation, not a criminal offense. The trial is now expected to last 2 weeks, and Hernandez faces a life sentence without parole. Police say 7 people were hurt in a shooting at a Prairie View A&M University homecoming party Sunday night. Officers responding to the shooting found 4 women, 2 men, and 1 male juvenile suffering from gunshot wounds, none believed to be life-threatening. Police have not made any arrests, but the Waller County Sheriff's Office says there were about 1,000 people at the event. The party did have private security, but police say security rules were not followed. Several people were hurt following a shooting at a large motorcycle rally in Galveston Saturday night. Police say the alleged gunman, 20-year-old Pettis Ray, was detained at the scene and had a gun. In all, 6 people were shot. 1 victim is in critical condition, but the rest are expected to make a full recovery. Police say the shooting was not related to the Lone Star Rally shooting and say Ray claimed to be a gang member believed to be targeting rival gang members.
We believe this is an isolated incident. We have never had any type of violence like this at Lone Star Rally before, and hopefully we will never have anything like this again.
Ray is charged with 6 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and his bond is at $600,000. Colin Strickland returned to the witness stand Monday in the murder trial of Caitlin Armstrong in Austin. He began his testimony Friday afternoon. The state is still in its first line of questioning. Armstrong is accused of shooting and killing pro cyclist Anna Mariah Mo Wilson at an East Austin home on May 11, 2022. Strickland was Armstrong's boyfriend at the time and spent the day with Wilson before the shooting. The mother of one of the 19 students killed in the Robb Elementary School shooting last year is on the ballot for tomorrow's election for a new mayor in Uvalde. Kimberly Mata Rubio lost her 10-year-old daughter Alexandria Lexi Rubio in the mass shooting. The 34-year-old mother is seeking to succeed Mayor Don McLaughlin, who is stepping down after nearly 10 years in order to pursue a seat in the Texas House. She is running against a former mayor of Uvalde and a local teacher. The Texas constitutional amendments election will take place Tuesday. 26 polling places will be open in Victoria County from 7 o'clock a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. 14 Texas constitutional amendments are on the ballot, along with voting on Proposition A of the Quail Creek Municipal Utility District and on Proposition A, which covers Victoria County water control and improvement. For your viewer poll, we want to know, do you plan to vote tomorrow? Here are your choices: yes or no, or you have voted already. Let's look at the numbers. 36% of the voters say yes, they have voted. 7% say no. 57% say they've voted already. We thank you for voting. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on 25 News Now after Monday Night Football. There are more than 17.7 million people registered to vote in Texas. KXAN reports after early voting, just over 1.25 million ballots have been cast for a statewide turnout of just over 7%. 5.8% of Victoria registered voters voted early in this election. After her daughter's death, once again, Marta Rubio became one of Uvalde's most outspoken proponents for tougher gun laws. Across the U.S., survivors of gun violence and families have run for office with mixed results. In 2016, the father of a man killed in a Colorado movie theater shooting lost his first bid for state senate, but won 2 years later. Democratic U.S. Representative Lucy McBath, the mother of a 17-year-old slain in a Florida gas station shooting, also won a seat for Congress in 2018. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. And stay with us. The latest at the Texas Senate coming up on 25 News Now at 6. What's at stake for schools, vouchers, and border barriers. Also ahead, the CDC increases its presence at airports in time for the holiday season. More border security bills are stuck in the Texas Senate with a special session about to end. The Texas Tribune reports the Senate was scheduled to take up House Bill 4, which would create a state crime to enter the state illegally from Mexico and would allow police officers to detain and transport that person to a port of entry and order them to return to Mexico. The Senate did not discuss the bill Sunday, instead recessing until Tuesday afternoon. The Texas House unveils its latest education plan with this special session set to end Tuesday. KXAN reports the proposal would establish a program to subsidize private education expenses for families wanting to move their children out of public schools. The House's latest proposal would give full-time teachers, nurses, counselors, and librarians a one-time $4,000 bonus in the first year after this plan would be implemented. The CDC is expanding surveillance at 4 major U.S. airports. Here's how the program works and what else the CDC is doing to prevent the spread of illness this holiday season.
As the holidays approach, families gather, temperatures dip, and health concerns rise. being indoors in close proximity to each other. And that is usually what kicks off respiratory virus season.
Heading into the busy holiday travel season, the CDC is expanding its infectious disease surveillance program at 4 airports to now test for more than 30 pathogens, including flu and RSV.
The key to it all is that the traveler really provides us with early critical information that can help us find things before they spread in our communities and helps public health officials determine what prevention and intervention measures will be needed.
The program began in 2021 to track COVID variants, collecting nasal swabs from volunteer travelers and analyzing wastewater from certain flights.
We hope to do the same and have the same success with early detection and filling in the gaps with other respiratory viruses.
For travelers hitting the road this holiday season, Dr. Sydney Friedman with the CDC recommends taking a few steps to help keep you and your family healthy.
Basic things like hand washing are really always good measures, not touching your face, carrying alcohol-based hand sanitizer if you're not going to be able to wash your hands.
According to data from the CDC, the rate of COVID-19 hospitalizations remains steady, while flu season is ticking up slightly throughout the country.
4 Victoria streets will have frequent closures all this week for surface paving. Streets closed include Ben Wilson Street between Sam Houston Drive and Airline Road, Ben Wilson Street between Red River Street and Houston Highway, Airline Road between Ben Wilson Street and Sam Houston Drive, and Red River Street between Ben Wilson Street and Cypress Street. The construction is part of the Ben Wilson Street Airline Road to U.S. Business 59 project. National Geographic's cool list of places to travel includes the entire state of Texas. Yeah, National Geographic recommends Texas because it has several great spots to catch next year's total solar eclipse. Also making the cool list for the U.S., Miami, sure. All about half of the 30 places on the list are in Europe, including the ruins of Pompeii and the mountains of Albania. Some other cool spots include Lima, Peru. And have you ever been back to Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula?
Actually, I have been there. It's quite exciting, very tropical. You got the jungle over here and the beautiful blue ocean over here, and you don't want to wander too much into the jungle. They still have a lot of jaguars out there, so pretty amazing stuff. Hey, get a load of this. This is what happens when we switch our clocks. You know, we switched our clocks on Saturday night, right? Okay, check your clock. Right, what time is it now? It's 6:05, something like that. 6:16. 74 degrees right about now. Fairly mild weather today. We got up to 83. That's a little bit above this. So this is above seasonal average. So we should be in the upper 70s. But I tell you, by the time we get to the weekend, you're going to know that it's winter again. Well, obviously, we haven't had any rain since the beginning of the month, and we're looking at 31.24 for the year. That puts us 4.5 below normal rainfall. But we are going to be getting rain beginning on Thursday night. We'll have more on that coming up in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the weekend. It was pretty good. I mean, you got to admit, that was a pretty nice weekend, getting outside. And I cut the grass, but here's the funny part. I think that's the last time I have to do that till next springtime, because it's going to go dormant pretty soon as the colder weather starts rolling in. We start off with sunshine, but then all of a sudden we got this high overcast. And as we follow it, as to see where it comes from, oh my gosh, yeah, it's coming from the Pacific Ocean, another remnant storm that's rolling up into our area. In fact, it's the one I talked about last week that is affecting us. It's this one. It's Pilar. Now, Pilar started over here off Central America, went out into the Pacific. It is beginning to fall apart, but you can see how that plume of moisture rolls up into our area. And I'll tell you about the westerly winds over North America, how once they get up here, they go that way. And that's exactly what happened right about there. So that moisture is getting pulled up by the fast jet stream going across North America, and it's coming up into our area. It's going to help us get a little bit more rainfall as we get to the weekend. So that's going to be interesting. Tonight, not exactly cold. We're looking at fairly mild weather, mid 60s. And tomorrow we'll be up into the 80s again. So if you enjoyed, working outdoors today, you're going to have a good time for about 2-3 days. And then it all changes as we start getting ready for the next big storm. Let's see what I'm talking about. Now, here's the current analysis. Storm in the Midwest, little frontal system sort of falling apart. As I mentioned, this one's not going to do much for us. However, over the next 2-3 days, we're going to see a big development of a low pressure system right here in the Central Plains. Now, what I'd like to visualize is the kitchen sink, and you open the drain and then the water starts going down like this, right? So it's basically pulling everything into this area of low pressure. So it's pulling up tropical moisture, it's pulling up the moisture from the Pacific, and then it's going to start pulling down cold air as well. That's why all of a sudden things will be changing for us later this week. You know me, I've been talking about Europe getting walloped by incredible windstorms. This is what's happening right now, but this is what's going to happen middle of the week, and this is a cold storm. They're going to be rolling through, and already out in the northern Atlantic, this thing is reporting 100-mile-an-hour winds. So Scotland, England, France getting hammered by that storm, and then another one forms. This is what we're looking at for the future, and unreliable, not unreliable, but just to say everything's out of the ordinary, because as the storms come off North America, they roll into very warm Atlantic waters, and you get these incredible windstorms. So if you haven't checked up onto that, find out what's going on, because it's been an amazing week. 69 tomorrow morning in Port Lavaca, 80 the high. We're looking for clouds and sun. Mostly clouds and some sun. 65 in Cuero, getting up to 84. And yes, we're going to be in t-shirts for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Thursday night, cold front comes in. Friday morning, whoa, northerly winds dropping temperature about 25 degrees. Will be in the 60s, and on the damp side, beginning Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So we'll be talking more about that a little bit later on. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Don.
Thank you, Mac. We're talking playoffs with Sports Director Gino Perez.
Thanks, Don. Playoffs? Well, the playoffs are set, and we look at the playoff picture coming up in the Crossroads area. That's coming up after the break. At Crossroads, it's the first week of the postseason, and there are a plethora of high school football teams in the area that have games, and many of them are playing on Thursday this week. The Victoria East Titans are running on a high from last week's Battle of the Boot, but are not getting complacent. East's 42-24 victory over West gave the Titans its first home playoff game in 7-win season in over 5 years. The Titans are on a 5-game win streak and will look for that to continue because it's win or go home now. East is preparing for Medina Valley on Friday night. On the opposite side of town, the West Warriors finished in 4th place in the district and are going to have a tough matchup against the district champion San Antonio Southside Cardinals. West is on a 2-game losing streak and will need to break it if their season wants to continue. The undefeated Cuero Gobblers have ran through every team they have faced and still have their eyes set on making it back to the state title game. The Mean Green are getting ready to head north to Pflugerville to play the 5-5 Robinson Rockets. The Rockets are on a 3-game losing streak. Game will be at the Field, that's with a P, on Thursday. The Calhoun Sand Crabs are district champions again and have run its way to the top spot to play the Zapata Hawks in the first round of playoffs. Calhoun will be heading up to Three Rivers Friday night. Home team are the Sand Crabs. The El Campo Ricebirds flew into the playoffs with a 3-3 district record and did so because the team was plagued with injuries but were able to make it a win-or-go-home scenario. El Campo will host the Houston Worthing Colts Friday night and will look to have a great postseason under first-year head coach Travis Reeve. The Tidehaven Tigers have been dominant on both sides of the ball all season, especially on defense, since allowing 14 points all year. With the defense playing like that, the Tigers have high hopes and will look to lean on its Division I running back on the offensive side. Tidehaven faces Buffalo Thursday in Katy Legacy Stadium. The district champion Goliad Tigers have taken the top spot despite the odds and have done so with a first-year quarterback and 4 new offensive linemen. The Tigers hope to continue the dream run against the Falfurrias Fighting Jerseys Thursday night. Kickoff is at 7:30 in Odom. Refugio Bobcats continue to prove that they have title aspirations, and other than the slight hiccup loss to the Hitchcock Bulldogs in Week 1, Refugio cruises its way to a district title. Now the Bobcats head to Alice and will face the Ben Bolt Badgers Thursday night. And although the Ganado Indians fell short of the district title, the Indians have showed that they are no team to take lightly in Class 2A on both offense and defense. Now they turn their sights to Santa Maria in Taft with hopes of playing Refugio again in the future. And there are many more teams that have playoff games this week, and the schedule is on our website at crossroadstoday.com. Well, that's your sports. Don, back to you.
Thank you, Gino. We're back in a moment. A North Texas artist has chalked a 3D version of the Rangers World Series MVP. Finally tonight, one baseball fan has captured Ranger World Series champion Corey Seager in a pretty unique way. Check out this 3D chalk art installation of the World Series MVP. It looks like he's bursting through a Texas-shaped hole in the sidewalk in front of the shops at Park Lane in Midtown Dallas. The artist says she switched up her previously planned theme once the Rangers won.
I actually had a holiday art piece planned. I asked the shops, I'm like, hey, can we switch it and do something for the Rangers? Because it was just all the excitement in the air.
Reagan says she'll be back in a couple of weeks to get started on the holiday artwork, which she may need to do first before if she does any artwork on the Cowboys. I just want to say, I'm watching these games. I'm watching these games too. You know?
Do you think the Cowboys are going to be on the sidewalk too?
You mean some players or the artwork? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe some players.
We're getting Christmas-style weather coming up here this week,
Yes,
right?
it is. It's going to feel like it. Now, right now, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, on the warm side, we'll be in the 80s. But, yep, by Friday morning, another cold north wind blowing in, dropping the temperature about 30 degrees. So it'll feel a lot more like the holidays this coming weekend. Now, Saturday, which is Veterans Day, the 11th, we may have a little rain. So let's just say that, well, I'll be watching it for you, and I'll let you know as soon as we get a definitive answer on that. But looks certainly cooler for sure.
All right. Thank you, Mac. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25's News now after Monday Night Football. Have a good one, everybody.